And welcome to Dakota Prep Question Walkthrough. In this video, we're going to cover motor bank overcurrent. Now, I know that you've all been very excited about this. I know that you've been wondering, when are they going to cover motor bank overcurrent? Well, wait no longer, for we are here to cover it. Okay. What size of time delay fuse is required to protect a three-phase 575 squirrel cage induction motor bank of 25 horses, 50 horses, and 40 horses? And the 40 horsey one is intermittent duty, 15-minute. All right. As with all C of Q questions, the very first thing we're going to do is, what is it asking for? What is it asking for? So what size of time delay fuse? Boom. What is it asking for? It's asking for overcurrent, specifically time delay fuse. And because it's overcurrent time delay fuse, we are going to be using 28204 because this is motor bank. Motor bank, obviously entirely different rules than individual motor overcurrent. So what is it asking for? Overcurrent, specifically time delay fuse. What do we have? We have our motor info. What do we need? As always, we need our flaws. Now, I prefer to draw it out because it helps me organize things in my brain. Trust me, my brain's a very disorganized place to be. So this is useful. And just because I'm going to make him happy. There we go. Oh, that's a terrible. Come on, buddy. Fix that smile. We're going to give him a little wee, and we'll give him a little bit of hair there too. And we'll just give him a little tail. There. So here's our motor bank. We've got 3 motors, 1, 2, and 3. This right here is our motor feeder or motor supply. This is our splitter. There's our splitter. And then this obviously right here is our motor bank overcurrent. Now, when we were looking here, motor 1 is 25 horses, motor 2, 50 horses, and motor 3 is 40 horses. Now, we see in here that the 40 horsepower is intermittent duty. Guess what? Duty does not matter when it comes to overcurrent. It only applies for conductors. So this is another really good example of how the C of Q is going to throw extra information there in order to mess you up, which is why it's so important to, what is it asking for? What do we have? What do we need? Because you are very specific with what is it asking for, you can pick out the information that's specific to that question. So the only things that we need from this question is time delay fuse and our motor horses. The duty does not matter. So now we need our flaw. And because this is 3-phase, we are going to go to table 44. And we find our 575. And then we just go down and find our flaws here, FLA. So our 25 horsepower is 25 amps FLA. Our 50 horsepower is 52 amps FLA. And our 40 horsepower is 41 amps FLA. Beauty. So let's head back over here. Now, what do we need to do in this case? Motor bank is a little tricky. So, because these are all squirrel cage induction motors, all squirrel cage induction motors have the same multiplier. We need to go to table 29 to see what our multiplier is going to be. So table 29 tells us for a time delay fuse, squirrel cage motor, our multiplier is 175%. 175%. So with this question specifically, because they're all squirrel cage with nothing fancy, we take our largest FLA, multiply it by 175%, and then we're going to add the rest of the FLAs. So in this case, our largest is 52 amps times 175. And then we're going to add our 27 and our 41, which gives us a grand total of 159 amps. As with all things motor overcurrent, we always go down, no exceptions. Always, 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 always go down. So then we head over to table 13. And our next available one, looks like it's 150. So in this case, we would end up with 150 time delay fuse right here to protect this motor bank. Now, this is where you have to be careful. If in this question, let's say that the 40 horsepower one, this guy right here, motor number 3, was, auto transformer starting. And then it says more than 30 amps. Guess what? Our multiplier in that case isn't 175. It's a different multiplier. So in that case, what we would have to do is we would have to go motor 1, our FLA, times our time delay multiplier at 175. Motor 2, our FLA times our squirrel cage motor or time delay multiplier at 175. And then motor 3, the FLA times that specific multiplier, because they're not all 175. So we take whatever this one would be, and we would multiply it by that. Now, whichever one of those was the highest, that's the one that we would use. And then we would add the FLAs of everything else. If they're the same, then you just take the highest FLA, use the multiplier, add the FLAs of the rest. If they're not the same, you have to multiply by that specific overcurrent multiplier and double check to make sure from table 29 that there isn't a different one. So you would multiply it if it was a different one by that. Whichever one of these was highest, you would use that one and then just use the FLAs of whatever's left over. But in this case, they were all the same. So we're easy peasy, lemon squeezy, everything is good. So what size of time delay fuse is required to protect a 3-phase 575 squirrel cage bank of these 3 motors? In this case, it is 150 amp time delay fuse. And that, my friends, ta-da, is us being so super smart.